Yeah, switching to cricket now on this Monday edition of the SportsMax Zone. All four matches produced outright results in round 2 of the Cricket West Indies 4-day championship, which concluded at the weekend with the Trinidad and Tobago Red Force, the Leeward Islands Hurricanes, Barbados Pride and the defending champions Guyana Harpy Eagles all registering wins. The Hurricanes' 5-wicket win over Jamaica Scorpions at the Sir Vivian Richards Stadium propelled them to the top of the standings with 45.4 points, 0.2 ahead of the Harpy Eagles, who defeated combined campuses and colleges by 8 wickets at Providence. TNT Red Force round out the top 3, having beaten the Windward Islands Volcanoes to move to 44.4 points. The top 3 are all unbeaten so far. Jamaica Scorpions are 4th with a win and a loss to sit on 29.4 points, while Barbados Pride followed up their first round loss to the Harpy Eagles with an innings and 54-run victory over bottom of the table West Indies Academy to sit 5th on 28.6 points. Now, returning captain Tevin Imlach put his test experience to practice with an unbeaten 126 and 80, good consistency there to lead the Harpy Eagles to their win. The wicketkeeper batsman was among 9 Centurions from round 2, and he joins us now via Zoom to discuss the performance. Tevin, not for the first time, but as usual, it is a pleasure to have you on the SportsMax Zone. It must feel pretty good to come off Test cricket and to show your class to the regional boys with a century followed by a big half century.
A pleasant good evening to all of you. Yeah, definitely. I mean, you want to score runs for your team, and coming back from Test cricket, you've gained all that experience. It's important that you come back and you hit the ground running and you show, the things you've learned.
Yeah, what were some of the things that you took back from Pakistan, Tevin? Because I always find it, quite impressive when you can come off playing for the West Indies team back into the regional game and you dominate, because that's what you want to see. So what are some of the things you took back with you from Pakistan?
There's a bit of patience, patience in your planning, patience in your preparation, and understanding, what you're good at and sticking to that as long as possible. I think I did that very well in this game. Obviously, the team was a bit under pressure, so it was important that I stand up there and give the team a chance of getting back into the game.
Yeah, and I want to talk specifically about the first innings performance, because as you pointed out, the Harpy Eagles were in a spot of bother at one stage. I think you closed day 2, I think it was at 166 for 6. So you were not in a great position, but you were able to put together that knock of 126. Like, how pleased were you with being able to take your team out of such a difficult position?
Not very. I mean, you live for moments like that, moments where, you have to put your hands up and do something special for the team. But it was a complete team effort. We had Ronaldo Ali Mohammed with a massive innings, kind of took the game and took the attack to them all up in that partnership, that big partnership between him and myself. So, yeah, it was a complete team effort, and it's nice to obviously be among the runs and get the team out of tough situations.
Yeah, I'm happy you mentioned tough situation, because there was a point in the game where it was day 4, you were on 32 for 3 in 13. But, one of the things I have to ask you, Tevin, is how were you as a skipper able to ensure that you keep your nerves in check and ensure that the rest of your team did so, despite the odds looking at that point like it was not going to happen?
Yeah, I mean, we've been in tough situations numerous times. As a team, the championship team, we did it against Jamaica last year. We were in a tough spot and we came out. So using that experience and just having that self-belief in the team and the men next to you is very important. And the guys were in good spirits. I mean, they were in good form moving from the Barbados game. So we know it's just a matter of, sticking to our plan and executing. Obviously, that second innings were much better than we were in the first innings, so that made a massive difference.
Yeah, 2 out of 2 wins so far. As you said, your team will next play the West Indies Academy. West Indies Academy not off to a good start because they're only on 4 points. I believe they're eighth on the table. What are you saying to your team as you get ready for that third face-off?
Yeah, I mean, opportunity for men to put their hands up again and get among the runs. Obviously, the first 2 rounds, a lot of runs has been scored. So it's important that, you continue that trend. The Kukubura ball, I guess, is a little bit easier to score against. It doesn't do a lot for very long. So it's important that we start well against them. They're a team that has absolutely nothing to lose. So they're going to come fighting. They're going to come playing fearless. And a team that's playing fearless is very dangerous. So it's important that we try to hit the ground running in terms of that first session, that first day, and set the tone for the rest of the match.
Yeah, and one of the things about teams that are, I find a common trend, like a team that can be losing all season long and they come up against a team that has been dominant and they find the inner strength to defeat them. So, as you said, you won't be taking the West Indies Academy too lightly. One of the things I liked about your performance so far is consistency, something that we sit on this show all the time, and whenever you all are not consistent, we talk about it because you can't give us a century today, Tevin, and then tomorrow we can't find you among the runs. So how important is it for you personally that you be consistent throughout this competition?
Not very. I mean, it's important that, because I see myself as a batter as well, not just a wicketkeeper batter. I want to score runs for the team. I bat very high up for my country. So, I take my batting very seriously, and it's about learning and growing as a player. The best players in the world score runs consistently, so that's what I'm striving to do, and that's what I want to do for this team and any team that I play for. So it's just about building on every innings and taking the learning and moving forward and getting better.
Yeah, and Tevin, I'm suggesting to follow up on Mariah's point about consistency, that you do have a big appetite for scoring runs. You did have a couple of hundreds towards the back end of last season against Jamaica and the Windward's Volcanoes, I believe. And you've already, put 3 figures on the board first time back for the new season. What would you identify as your biggest tool technically that makes you succeed while batting?
In the last year, I'd probably say mindset and temperament. Sticking to my plan. There's something that, in previous years I would have strayed from. Within the last 2 years, I try to focus on that, just sticking to my plan as long as possible, understanding my game, understanding what are my strengths, and playing to my strengths. That's something that I felt worked for me last year, and it's something I'm going to take forward this year.
Yeah, and year after year, Tevin, we've looked at the bowling stats, and it's very noticeable that spinners have been far more successful than fast bowlers. And this isn't a recent statistic. It's been going on now for well over a decade. How would you assess that, when you analyze regional cricket? Why, from your standpoint, is it that the spinners are consistently more successful than the fast bowlers?
It's very hard to tell. I mean, we have some quality spinners going around there. Sami Pamal, Rakeem Carnwall. Now you have Young Bishop also gets a lot of wickets. And I think what they do well is they're consistent. So they challenge the batter's patience. How long are you willing to, stick it out and fight as a batter rather than, probably take the aggressive route out? They use that to their advantage. Who's gonna be more patient in this situation, and they challenge you in that way. And I think a lot of times, because we're as West Indian, we're a lot more aggressive, in terms of our style of play. You see T20 cricket and fifth over cricket, the direction that is going as well. We're more aggressive in nature, so they tend to play on that a bit more. And I think that allows them to be a bit more successful than the fast bowlers. And the pitches also, I guess, offer a bit more to the spinners as well, compared to the fast. But you have some pitches like, for example, the one in Guyana really wasn't, offering a whole lot to the fast bowler.
Yeah, Tevin, we're almost out of time, but I want to quickly go back to your debut test tour in Pakistan, and I want to get your own assessment of your performances in that series. I mean, personally, I thought your glove work was absolutely magnificent on those very difficult pitches, but your overall assessment of, you know, what your first test tour was like.
Challenging, but in a nutshell. But it was fun. It was fun to, experience that as something different. The pitch is spinning Guyana, but not, as much as Pakistan. So it offers a different challenge and, allow you challenge in different ways. So it was fun to actually be there and be a part of, a drawn series, but a fighting series. I felt like a lot of the players would have learned a lot from that series. They would have grown, even though it wasn't like high scoring in terms of runs, but in terms of mentality and fight and growth. I think a lot of players would have benefited from that. Saw some of the players coming back scoring a lot of runs. Captain Craig Braffett, Kavim Hodge as well. So it's for me, it was just about the learning, taking the learning from it. And batting wise, obviously, you didn't get the big scores, but it was challenging surface and it was challenging conditions. So I enjoyed the fight and I definitely did take a lot away from it. One thing it definitely taught me is that you need to be able to bat in any pitch.
Yeah, that is for sure. Well, you did get a 35, and I know a 35 is not a whole lot of runs on the face of it, but on those surfaces might have made the difference for the West Indies. Tevin, as usual, it really was a pleasure speaking with you. I want to wish you all the best for the remainder of the tournament. Continue to score runs because, as you well know, you're not the only wicketkeeper batsman around trying to fight for a place in that test team, but we wish you all the very best and hope that you'll continue to do well and your team will continue to do well. Take care, man.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
Yeah, man. Tevin Imlach there. Always a pleasure speaking with him. Really smart guy. Yeah, let's take a break. So much more to come on the SportsMax Zone, including the second zone update. And we have to talk about that sport. Yes, football of the American variety. That's coming up. Stay with us.